Where am I going? What, you know, and some of that is answered in star too, of course. And like, I can verbalize those answers, but I also want to just ask it, like, if you could talk for a few minutes. Oh, it's only 5:25 already. So, and then last piece of my question, like there was a night where I was drifting off to sleep one time, and I started to, none of this was visual in any way, but I just had awareness that I was meeting up with people that I knew and we were getting back to work on something. And it startled me completely. So I woke up and I was like, well, what was I doing? Who are these people? What were we working on? Like it could, like a work project, but I have no idea what it was. Like, what's an example of a work project we're doing at night?
Well, so we all do kind of versions of that. And the issue is that when we're in the sleep time, we'll call it sleep time / dream time. When we're in that state, you know, sometimes you're just dreaming and you're doing like stress, kind of like I call it like garbage processing. Like, that person was a jerk today, and oh, I was super stressed out, and oh, I didn't make the deadline, and you know, you're just kicking out, and oh, I watched a weird thing on TV, and then I went to the, you know, that's just kind of garbage processing. You know, you're just processing the day and everything. Then you have stuff where you're processing things that are like deep, and they might get stimulated by something in the day, but it's usually like a pattern or something that, you know, triggers this like process. And you're kind of either problem solving or like learning something based on what you're dreaming and how you're processing it. And so being aware of those dreams is helpful, you know, because you bring it forth into your day. And sometimes if you have a really intense dream, you kind of feel a little out of it as the beginning of the day is. You're in the process of kind of bringing that forward into your waking mind or from the unconscious, right? And so, you know, that is very powerful. And if you do something like Om Mani Padme Hum before you go to bed, you'll become more aware of it while you're doing it, and it makes it easier for you to recall it in your waking mind and bring it forth. It doesn't happen right off the bat, but if like you just right before you go to bed, you just sit and chant Om Mani Padme Hum for about 10 minutes. Or for you could also do the Lord's Prayer meditation. Right. And so either one of those, very helpful. You know, last weekend we had the class that's for processing things in the sleep. So, you know, you could look at portions of that. But then from there, the soul goes off and does things sometimes. And everybody kind of does it. And depending on how developed you could say the mental permanent seed is, depends on how much activity and this isn't the right word, but like how high you get when you're up doing it, you know. Like sometimes when those things are happening, you might have like some bad dreams, but it's just because there wasn't enough light and you just ended up in a bad neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's not that you got some weird things going on. You just couldn't bypass. You took the wrong train exit and you ended up in the bad neighborhood. And so you had a bunch of bad experiences, but it's not really you, right? It's just where you got off, you know? And so there are times where you might be doing healing in your work. There's times when you're learning. There's times when you're accessing information. There are times where you might even be getting instruction. And that you're aware of it is great if it happens, but most times people aren't, you know. And so again, you know, doing the sleep work like what we did last weekend, or the Om Mani Padme Hum before bed, or the Lord's Prayer meditation, you know, like last week we did in the study group, we did the Tara technique where we did the arms and legs with, I can't remember what we did with you guys. I think we did oils or the mantras.
Mantra.
Yeah, in mantras. And so you can do that because part of your ability to take off in the inner world like that is tied to, like, you could say, how flexible or pliable your basic chakra is.
Okay.
And if you can open that up a little bit and make it a little bit more pliable, a little less rigid, you go up a little bit higher, you retain a little bit more, and you're able to bring it down. And so I would say that's even starting to be in the vein of receiving inner transmissions. You know, basically the inner transmissions are either embedded in the blue pearl, which is what we would call the inner eye or the center of the pineal gland, or they're streaming through the blue pearl, right? Okay. And so that even starts to be an even higher degree of that. But
okay, thank you.
Sometimes, you know, because we have our outer teachers and sometimes we have our inner teachers, and sometimes you might get to interact with your inner teacher in sleep time. You know, you might not know them by name, but sometimes you get to interact with them.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so one of the things, if that starts happening more intensely, either have an iPad or a tablet by your bed, and right when you wake up, brain dump.
Yeah.
Brain dump like nobody's business, because a lot of times the act of writing helps you to bring forth more of the information, and it might not make sense to you in the moment, but as you're writing it out, more information comes in, and you'll keep processing it through the day, and you'll put 2 and 2 together.
Okay.
Yeah. Those
is
were
there,
instructions.
last thing really quick, in the dream kit, is there any oils in that kit that would help with, that I could put on before sleep, or is that more about helping you to sleep?
No, the dream kit is for exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole kit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do and I have the patterns for it, so I'll do that.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, Greg. Thank you.
You're so welcome.